Okay, so let's grab a tile and or a curtain wall unitized panel system here, and go ahead and create a couple of additional shapes to this unit. So I'm going to tab in here until I can grab one, and we'll go to Edit Family, and we'll go to I think the right elevation of this, and let me see if I can zoom in here, and I'm going to grab the tile. And I'm going to duplicate it. And I'll duplicate it out 2 times because we're going to make 2 different tiles. So let's say I'll move this one out 6 inches. And then I'm going to make another copy and move it out an additional 6 inches. So this should give us a place to work there to kind of modify these 2 shapes. So I'll click into this one, double click into it so we can edit it, and I'll delete that front line, and we'll just put a NURBS curve on the front of it. Or excuse me, a spline curve. And I don't know what happened there, so let me just redo that. It terminated. Wasn't paying attention. All right, and we'll just enhance this a little bit. Now, in a normal extrusion, this panel, these gaps here, these void spaces, would actually extend up and start to take the same shape. But we're not going to concern ourselves with that for this this project, because it would be a bit cumbersome to do that, and really isn't quite necessary at this point. So I'll click that completed. It's telling me that I haven't made a good connection here somewhere. So I'll have to figure out what I'm doing wrong here. So the air box coming up behind me, so I'll just click continue. And it looks like I haven't touched this correctly down here. Let's see if that satisfies it. Yep. So we now have our curve tile. And let's go ahead and create a parameter, or a visibility parameter for that. So I'm going to select that curve tile now. And under the graphics, I'm going to select the little equal sign in front of it. And it's going to go open up for an associate family parameter. And we're going to create a new one. So we're going to click this box down here, and we'll call this curve tile. And we want this to be an instance parameter, meaning that we can change the instance of it in the whole curtain wall. So we can just select one individual tile and change it. It's not a global parameter. And it's a visibility parameter that we're making. And the minute I select visibility, the parameter then decides that you can either have two like Boolean logic, can either be there or not be there. So I'll click OK, and we're done with that. And then this one we'll do a kind of a sawtooth maybe pattern. So I'm going to double click into this one. And I want these to be your own design. So I'm just giving you a start here. These are extrusions, but even if you wanted to put boxes or something on the face of this tile or some other shapes, you feel free to do that. I'm going to go ahead now and just make some sort of, oops, I'm not touching that. Let me zoom in here a little closer. So, I mean, a little bit of what's going on in the shape of this is that it's turned up like that for a reason. Else is locked up here for a minute. There we go. A shadow or a highlight reflecting light up this way, and maybe a shadow line down below it. So I'm going to just grab that now and maybe make a couple of duplicates of it. And I'm just being really casual about the dimensions here. I'm not worrying about alignment, just to move along quickly here and demonstrate this to you. And we'll see if that is completed. It works. So now we want to assign this one a visibility parameter, just like the curved one we did. So I'm going to go to the graphics again and do the same thing. make a new parameter. We'll call this ridges, ridge panel. And we'll select the visibility parameter of that and click OK. Oops, and that still needs editing because I didn't change the hold on, I'll just show you here I'll open up this and we'll go ahead and edit this one. So I'm going to look for that ridge panel again and go edit. So I went to parameters up here, and now you'll notice that it was a type and I really want it to be an instance. So I'll click OK. And while we're here, this gives us a way of organizing things. So you see that we really have these things that we want to be able to change easily. So we have a curved tile. We have a flat tile. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move that up so it's next to it. And that ridge tile, ridge panel. And I've named these all different. So it'd be really nice if you name them in kind of a similar convention, like curved tile, flat tile, ridge tile. And you'll notice they're all checked to be visible, and we really don't want that. We really want probably the flat tile to show. So I'm going to move this one up again. We'll leave the flat one as the default, and we'll leave these two off. I'll just click OK with that. And now we're going to just, I'm just going to move this one back into position. We'll leave that one hanging out just so we can see what happens when we import this back into our curtain wall. So I'll move this back to 6 inches, and we'll go ahead and load that into the project and overwrite the existing one in the parameter values. And hopefully nothing should change on the screen. But if I come in here and I select a single tile like this, you'll notice that we're here now, we have show flat tile, and I can turn that off. Now we're just looking at the raw attachment system. And I'm going to go back and select that tile again. And now I'm just going to highlight the curved tile and hit apply. And you'll notice that an error happens. You notice how it extends out back past the mullion or the grid line. And that's because something's happened with the association of the parameters once the reference grid, once I move that tile off to start doing construction on it. So I'm going to go back and correct that, and I'll show you how to correct that. So we're back into the tile system again, and I'm going to go to the reference level because I think this is where I put in these parameters and you can be able to see them. So we have, here's that curved tile. You can see how it's protruding out. And you'll notice I have 2 reference lines. I have this is the reference plane for the spaces between the tiles, the middle of the grid line. And then the stepped in one, which is in 19/32 of an inch, is to create that kind of a reveal, that gap between the panels, because it would be impossible to have them perfectly meet up with each other. And so you'll notice with the curved tile that it's still touching there properly, but if I pull it off and pull it back on again, the lockbox appears. And so I'm going to go ahead and lock that. Because this relationship had been destroyed when I had moved those tiles out. So I'll pull this one back and put the lockbox on it. And then I'll grab the curb tile, and while we're there, I'm going to move this one back into position. So I had pulled this out a foot. So I just need to grab it somewhere. And I'll probably just type in 1 foot, I think, here. And then while it's there, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to grab that and pull it off so I can reestablish that that parametric relationship. Lock this one back off again. I'm going to load that back into the project and overwrite the existing one. And that curved tile should hopefully snap back into position there. So I don't have great lighting on this right now, but now we can see the curved tile in position. And if we were to tab over to this tile, the one next to it, I'm trying to get to, there we go. I can turn that flat tile off and make the ridge tile appear. All right, so now we have the ability to, in any way we want, change the types of tiles that we have in our curtain wall system. So next we'll just look at another issue, and that's the idea of what happens when these panels come to corners, inside corners and outside corners. we'll take a brief look at how we use the visibility and the void extrusion tool to create those miters.